Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to today's video. I am Wabash and Midwest Modeler. Today I'm going to be going almost step by step on how I made this this bit of my layout here. This is the first video we're going over my layout, so I'm going to show you how I made the bench work and started getting ready for laying track bed and track. Before we jump into the video here, I'd like to say, kids, if you are building a layout, make sure to talk to your parents about it first, and when using power tools to build your layout, have adult supervision. Do not do it by yourself, okay? Alright, now with that out of the way, let's jump right into how I made the base. I started off by cutting OSB. I lost the footage for that, so it's going to skip to me cutting up some bed frame pieces, which I used to screw the two pieces of OSB I cut together. I cut two pieces of OSB to 1 by 4 foot and 1 by 3 foot, so making a 1 by 7 foot layout. And like I said, used some old pieces of a bed frame to screw that together. So starting off using kind of some scrap wood, still good wood, but scrap wood. And I used drywall screws to screw that all together. The drywall screws were the perfect length to not go through the OSB and after screwing them into the bed frame pieces. Another warning is to make sure whatever you're cutting or screwing is secured. You do not want it whipping around like it does for me here. You want to make sure that's secure, and make sure you're wearing safety glasses and appropriate equipment, because sometimes it happens. Like as you can see, it happened for me. I was not attentive enough and did not make sure my board was secure. So it's also good to have that equipment in case you miss it like I did. Next up, we cut up some insulation foam here. This is a insulation foam board from Home Depot. It's 2 foot by 2 foot squares. I got 2 of those, and I glued it down with some liquid nails, as you'll be able to see here in just a moment. But yeah, looking back, one thing I wish I would have done differently is I wish I would have taken a little bit more time cutting each foam board so I didn't have some of the rough edges you'll see here in just a moment. The tools I used to cut this foam board was I used a 2 foot level. This span the whole length of the foam board, and then a Sharpie / Expo marker and a utility knife here and a speed square just to make sure all the lines were straight. Utility knife just because that was the knife that was readily available. Here you can see me gluing down the foam board with the liquid nails that I mentioned earlier. This liquid nails I picked up at Home Depot as well. Most of the stuff for this layout I have gotten at Home Depot. But yeah, you can see I just apply kind of like 3 strips to cover most of the board there. And then just set the foam board down on top. And then I found just some random things around my garage to weigh it down just so that it would secure nicely to the base of the layout. That's what you want to do? Yep. after laying the foam board, I did trace out the track layout. I did not get that on video though, so it will not be in this video. But I then went back to the Home Depot, got some pieces of just this really thin wood. I got one big board of it and used it to kind of make edges around my layout. So it looks all fancy smanchy as a shelf. So yeah, this is the process of me cutting it up. I used a table saw here, made sure everything was adjusted correctly, and had one of my buddies catch the board for me as I sent it through. It's always good to have a buddy to help you out when you're cutting wood on a table saw. It just makes everything a lot more streamlined, as you see it here. After cutting everything up, I laid it out on an old bed sheet and then went ahead and used some black spray paint that I've had sitting around for a little while to paint the edges here. And it ended up looking really nice. So yeah, this is just the process of me painting the boards for the edges. And then me and my buddy went on to paint the foam on the layout. As another buddy of mine gave a very good point that if I wait till after I put my road bed down, I could accidentally paint some of the ballast, which I did not want to do. So I decided I would just paint a layer on before I get the track bed and ballast down, so that way I don't accidentally paint anything there. And then I realized I'm going to be cutting some of this foam and stacking some of this foam just to add some terrain. But oh well, I'll just have to go back and repaint it later. Then, after letting everything dry, it was time to screw the sides onto the board. I just used some spare screws that we had lying around in the cabinets from a project sometime that my family worked on. But yeah, it was really finicky getting all this stuff lined up, and if I could go back and redo it, which I probably still will, but I will probably get a little bit of a thicker wood for the sides here. It was just not good. As you can see in my first nail, I just drilled right through the board, which was not a good sign. I'm a little bit scared to screw electrical stuff into it and have that wood holding things up, but we'll see how it goes. If I need to replace it, I'll replace it. If not, I'll try to make what I have work. But we will see. And with all that finished, part 1 of building this train layout is completed. I'd like to thank you guys for watching this video, and if you liked this video, make sure to like and subscribe and leave a comment down below as to any suggestions or techniques I can use for future episodes of building the layout. Anyway, this is Wabash and Midwest Modeler signing off, and thanks for watching.